Yeah, the background looks a little bit different. I'm moving, so shelves are going to be disappearing every week. Um, I just finished Ruin by John Gwynne. I'm a little upset. So I'm going to try to stay strong for this video and get through my TBR for February. But I've been staring at a wall for the last 15 minutes because that book, it hurts. Let's get to the TBR. All right, so first things first, the Howler pick for February, and also the Patreon buddy read pick or read along, whatever term you prefer. It was neck and neck between The Blade itself and Leviathan Wakes, but The Blade itself has now taken a strong lead, and that will be both the Howler pick of the month that was chosen for me to read, and will now also be a buddy read slash ring along. That will also be a buddy read slash read along with the channel, Patreon, Discord, wherever you want to chat. So we got The Blade itself. First things first, in February, I'm finally starting Joe Abercrombie and the First Law series. I am at least going to read through the first trilogy. These, I'm sure, will end up continuing to be Howler picks or, become part of my monthly TBR until I'm done. But most of what I know about this series is that it's grimdark. It is very, very, very heavily focused on characters. Not a lot happens. There is not an awful lot of plot in these books, as I'm told, but everybody absolutely raves about the character work, and I'm excited to get into this world and really see what it has to offer, because this will be my foray into Abercrombie's writing, and I'm looking forward to it. It's so highly rated in the booktube world and fantasy world in general, and tons of patrons were recommending it. Lots of people on my Discord were saying you have to get the First Law. So I'm doing it, and I'm looking forward to it. Next up will make a lot of people happy, as I have not read anything in this series since July of last year? I don't know. It's been a while. Fires of Heaven was the last one, but now, of course, I get to hold up the greatest Wheel of Time cover ever, which is Sexy Romance Rand in his clearly skipping leg days routine and wearing giant poofy white shirts. So, this is book 6 of the Wheel of Time series. I'm finally getting back to it and looking forward to it. Like I've said many, many times, The Shadow Rising was far and away my favorite of the first 5. And while I disliked a lot of Fires of Heaven, it did end on a very high note, as all these books tend to do. Robert Jordan can write one hell of a third act of a book and leave you wanting more. I've heard fantastic things about this book. It is a contender of, top 2 to 4 books of people's, rankings of the entire series. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one a lot. Don't really know what to expect, but I'm happy to get back to the Wheel of Time, as I am going to be reading one Wheel of Time book every month this year until I am done. And I believe I will be finished in December. So lots of Wheel of Time coming at you. Next up, and I was very excited to get to this until about 20 minutes ago. I'm still excited to get to it, but I'm mad at you right now, John Gwynne. Wrath by John Gwynne. So I will be finishing up the Faithful and the Fallen series, which is absolutely incredible, epic fantasy, very strong characters, not heavy-handed in its description. It is very direct and to the point in the writing style. Insane action, awesome fight choreography, and the dialogue is excellent. The battles are just completely vicious, and you have giants riding bears into battle and mauling people, and you've got giant wolven tearing people apart. It's just everything about this series is awesome. And as I've learned after reading Ruin, and I thought I was going to be okay with it because the characters that we were losing, I didn't personally find that impactful. There are a few that changed my mind. John Gwynne is adding to his kill count, and he likes to kill characters. So I'm terrified to read this book because now I'm very worried that I'm going to lose a lot more people. So the series is fantastic. I highly recommend it, and I'm looking forward to finishing it, but I'm also scared as shit that most of my favorite characters will not make it. If you're looking for a fantasy series that you actually have stakes and your characters may die, the multi POV nature of this story is great. I mean, you hit a lot of POVs in this book. There are a ton of named characters, not to the scale of like a Wheel of Time or Malazan, anything like that, but there are a lot of names to remember. There were a few that I was like, who is this again? And then I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But I started a kill counter in my notes for this book, and I was writing too many down. I'll put it that way. Not this book, Ruin, the third book. Review coming soon for that. But that kill count got entirely too high for my liking, and I don't know how I feel right now. Honestly, one of the strongest points about this series to me, though, is because of the multi POV. You flip characters a lot, and I can understand why that would be annoying to some people, but I genuinely am intrigued by every single chapter in these books. There is not a single character that you follow that I'm bored by or annoyed when I get to their chapters, and none of them are insanely long chapters because you're going through so many different POVs. They're pretty short chapters. I mean, even to the point where like some of them are a page, which is kind of silly, but there's a reason for it because they're either like very background characters or minor in what's going on. But the main characters that you do follow are absolutely phenomenal, and even the bad guys or characters that you hate but are so interesting to read about, they're just so well done, and you get so many different aspects of battles that are happening because you're bouncing between characters. You're not just following the good guy in a battle, like you're following 3 different people in a battle. You're following 5 different people in a battle, different sides of the battle. So that's all just incredibly well done. Hats off to John Gwynn for doing this so well, and it doesn't really feel choppy. As often as you do flip POVs, it feels good. It's paced well, and I love it. Other than you killing characters, you mean person. As I said recently, I'm kind of only sticking to a 4 book a month TBR currently, and then if I get to more, it's icing on top of the cake. I'm actually moving on the 15th of February out of this current house that I am in, so I will basically be living with my family for just under 3 weeks while our house is being finished, and then we'll move in early March. And I won't actually have any bookshelves or anything until the end of March because scheduling things is kind of crazy, but I will have a new office setup and stuff going on. So videos may take a hit here and there. And also my TBR is going to be smaller because I may not get to all of these. But one of the last things that I want to read in February, and this is a little bit shorter, but I do want to continue the Dune saga with Dune Messiah. It's under 300 pages, and I have a feeling it's going to read way quicker than Dune did. So I'm going to get through that. I do understand that people say you should read this and God Emperor, whatever book 3 is, kind of back to back because it forms one coherent story. I might do that if I really feel like I need to immediately, or just I might roll into March and start the 3rd book. But this is going to be the last official book that I read in February, assuming that I get to it. I should be able to. I think I'll have enough time. It's a shorter month. I'm moving. Things might get a little out of whack, but this would be the last thing that I try to read, so that would fall off if anything. But I absolutely adore Dune. I do have a full review of that book and a vlog as well. Dune was one of the most fascinating sci-fi books that I've ever read. It was fantastic. I raved about it in my video last year. It was one of the best books that I read all year long, and I want to continue at least through the Frank Herbert Dune books. And if I love them enough through book 6, I will probably give the Brian Herbert books a shot. But I mean, he's written like 14 of them now, so I don't know. There's prequels, there's continuations. He's written 2.5 times as many books as Frank did, so I don't know. I've heard totally mixed things about the rest of the series from his kid, but we'll see. And last but not least, this is not officially scheduled or anything yet. I still have to hammer out when we're going to do these reads. But I mentioned in a recent book haul that I picked up some H.G. Wells books. Now, these are shorter books, and there are also short stories in here. But the famous Invisible Man, Island of Dr. Moreau, Time Machine, and War of the Worlds, they are all relatively short, so they're almost novellas in themselves. But I really wanted to read some H.G. Wells, and I was talking to another booktuber that you all may know that is a big sci-fi channel, and we are going to, I don't know how the videos and stuff are going to go yet, but we are basically going to be sort of doing a read-along of The Invisible Man and The Island of Dr. Moreau. So that will happen in February as well. Again, I will make an announcement to that when we have dates hammered out for that. But they're both pretty short. Dr. Moreau is 120 pages maybe in this, and Invisible Man is like 140 pages, so it's like reading a short book anyway. So I'm definitely looking forward to that and chatting with another channel about that, because that's super cool and exciting. So that will wrap up my February. Again, I may not get to everything. I'll absolutely do the Invisible Man and Island of Dr. Moreau and the Blade itself, Lord of Chaos, and then Dune, Messiah, and Wrath I want to get to as well. Hopefully I have enough time to do all this, but we'll see. It's going to be a hectic month, and the month of March will also be pretty crazy. So stay tuned for more announcements and TBRs and stuff like that. But that's going to do it for this video. So like and subscribe. As always, if you do enjoy the channel, feel free to join Patreon if you want to support the channel financially and continue me buying books. They are scattered all across my floor right now because I only have one shelf right now. But that is, of course, always optional, but always greatly appreciated. It does continue to grow, and it's awesome that anybody is willing to support me in this way, to have me buying books, talking about books. It's a lot of fun for me. I like being able to talk to this community about books, and I've met a ton of awesome people on BookTube. Last year was a fantastic journey that I went on with YouTube, so looking forward to the rest of 2021. Do join me in Discord, though, and definitely leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on anything that I'm planning on reading, what you hope to see me read in the future of 2021, and definitely continue the conversation with me in Discord. So that's going to do it, guys. Until next time, keep reading.